What's up, everyone? Melo and Justin Graver back from the Music City Audible podcast with another exclusive YouTube breakdown. And today we're breaking down the Defensive Rookie of the Year candidates, given our picks. So let's run through it really quick. Here are the odds. Will Anderson is the heavy favorite to win at plus 350. Jalen Carter right behind him plus 650. Then it's Tyree Wilson plus 900 alongside Devin Witherspoon plus 900. Christian Gonzalez is plus 950. Jack Campbell is plus 1400. Lucas Van Ness plus 1500. Nolan Smith plus 1600. Emmanuel Forbes and Will McDonald the fourth are plus 1,800. Not going to get into anyone further down than that. So Justin, who's your pick for Defensive Rookie of the Year, and is it obvious?
Not as obvious as you think, probably, because I'm going with the number 2 choice on that list. I'm going with Philadelphia Eagles rookie defensive tackle Jalen Carter. I love the spot he landed, and you talk about an Eagles defense that recorded a historic amount of sacks last year. This guy's going to come in. He's going to be flanked by a lot of talent. They've gone through some changes, but Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat are still there. I think that's what matters most. Some rotational pieces on the edge as well. Brandon Graham, a couple of others. I look at what they lost in the interior. They lost their best interior pass rushing defensive tackle, Javon Hargrave, signing that massive contract with the San Francisco 49ers in free agency. I think Jalen Carter comes in, and I know Fletcher Cox is still there, the aging Fletcher Cox, but I think Carter comes in, and he's going to eat up a lot of those snaps. He's going to get a lot of those pass rushing opportunities. You look at guys he'll be playing next to on occasion, whether that's Fletcher Cox, one of the best veterans in the league, that makes his job easy. If it's not him, who is it? It's Jordan Davis, his former teammate at the University of Georgia, and Jordan Davis is such a big, massive mammoth of a man. He's an expert run stopper. He eats up blocks. What's that going to do? That's going to place Jalen Carter in very advantageous positions, one-on-one matchups to rush the passer. I look at the historically talented defense. They had 70 sacks last year. That's a ridiculous number. Well, yes, you factor in a little bit of regression. That's natural. There's still so much talent there. Hassan Reddick, everyone I ran through, Jordan Davis, Josh Sweat, he's going to be playing next to so many great football players. It's going to be placing him in great positions. I think Jalen Carter can come out and have a 10-sack season, even from the interior.
That is a great pick. There's a couple things that scare me off about Jalen Carter. It's certainly interesting, but my fear is he won't play enough snaps as a rookie because there is so much talent on that defensive line. I know that you mentioned the guys they lost, but he could be a rotational guy early on in the year and not getting heavy workload until later in the year. That's something that scares me a little bit. The other thing is that Eagles defense was so talented and did such a good job last year that if they regress a little bit, no one on the defense will be considered for these defensive awards because they'll be seen as having taken a step back. So just narratively, I think he's got to have 10 sacks to be in consideration. So I like the pick. There's just a few things that concern me about it. I'm going chalk here. I'm taking Will Anderson, the heavy favorite to win the award. I think he was the clear best edge rusher in the draft. And a lot of times you see this award go to edge rushers, although defensive tackles and cornerbacks can win it too. I think a lot of the time when there's a premier edge rusher in a class, like a Chase Young that one year that he came out, he won Defensive Rookie of the Year. I think when there is a guy like that at the top of the draft, like Will Anderson was this year, more often than not, they become heavy favorites to win it, and then they go on to do so barring health. So I am picking Will Anderson, but do you have a sleeper? Because if you don't, I do.
Well, I'm gonna let you give your sleeper. I just want to comment on the pick. I do love Will Anderson Jr. You said he was the best edge rusher. He was the best player in the 2023 NFL draft. He's landed in a good spot in Houston. They're a rebuilding franchise, but keep in mind, great head coaching hire there with DeMeco Ryans, a brilliant defensive mind Coach Ryans has. Let's not forget, Coach Ryans coached the Defensive Player of the Year last year with San Francisco 49ers and Nick Bosa. So maybe it'll be back-to-back award season for Coach Ryans with Will Anderson Jr. in Houston.
When it comes to sleeper picks, I'm going with somebody that maybe people aren't expecting. I'm going with a cornerback, Emmanuel Forbes, drafted by the Washington Commanders. He's plus 1,800 to win.
And I know why. I know why you're picking him.
Yes, the reason is obvious. He set an NCAA career record with 6 pick sixes in college. If he can take some of that production to the NFL, he's going to create the buzz and the narrative to be a guy that people want to vote for. And I think we've heard out of OTAs, granted, we always only hear positive things out of OTAs, but out of OTAs so far, we've heard that he's shutting down Terry McLaurin, shutting down Jahan Dotson and the other receivers in that room. I think this is a guy that's going to translate really well to the NFL, even though he is smaller in size. He's got to stay healthy to win this award. So that's the big caveat, but that's why you have the value plus 1,800 odds there. If he has like 3 or 4 pick sixes this year, he's going to drive that narrative to being the guy that wins this award. So I think if it's not Will Anderson, if it's not Jalen Carter, I'm going with Emmanuel Forbes.
Well, I think he's going to get a lot of opportunity. I'll say that in agreement because I do think he's going to be a day one starter in that secondary. They've been looking for ball hawks. They're looking for playmakers. In fact, that was one of my most obvious player to team fits throughout the pre-draft process. I thought they were going to look for a day one corner, whether it was him or a Christian Gonzalez. I knew he was on their radar. I interviewed him before the draft. You can still go check that out. Great player. And teams typically, they try to test rookie corners, right? They might learn real quick that he's not one to test. if he rips off one of those, signature pick sixes of his, he certainly could be a shout for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
That's right. So, all right, if you like this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We got more like this coming soon. Comment below, who's going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year? Is it going to be Jalen Carter? Is it going to be Will Anderson? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll be back soon with another video. So until then, y'all stay safe out there and tighten up.